If you could live green, would you? I'm Nick Fedorov, host of Things Green, where we introduce nuggets of green lifestyle from gardening, upcycling, answering your questions, sustainability, even discussing environmental issues. You can become more confident in making the right decisions for you and your family. So come along as we are Things Green. Well, you know, being a city boy, sure would have been nice if you told me to bring my 4x4 because I didn't realize we were going to be roughing it out here.
And that's why we moved out here.
I mean, look at this. This is just amazing. You know what always fascinates me? How does there's a guy who has a house that's in the middle of nowhere, cut on the side of a mountain. How do you think of that?
It's pretty brilliant.
Yeah,
It is brilliant.
It really is. Well, being a city boy, you're a city boy too. What are you doing out here? Was. You and I come from the same hood.
Yes.
Yeah. What school did you go to?
Montebello High School.
No kidding, fellow Oiler. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a lot of Oilers on the show before.
Yeah.
Hey. You don't owe any of the money, do you?
I do not.
Oh,
Not that
good.
I recall.
All right, so this is pretty interesting for me where we're at. We're here in God's country, how beautiful that it is. We're on a road trip and we are in Oregon. And this is a working farm that you're building. And it's also a forest at the same time.
Yes.
So you got a little bit of both
Right.
of those two worlds going for you.
Right. So this is called Sakana Ranch, and we're actually in Scotts Mills, Oregon. This is a 122-acre ranch, working ranch. So we raise cattle, sheep, and then also it's about, I would say about 100 acres of forest in timber deferral.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is too cool. Do you ever just like take a tent and go put in a tent in the
I have no time.
No time to do
No
that, huh?
time. We are so
So
busy.
you're constantly working.
We
So
are
it's
constantly
really it's a. How come you don't have a cowboy hat on if that's the case?
It's in my truck.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. See, look, you didn't tell me to bring my cowboy hat. I wear a cowboy hat on the show, and you didn't tell me to bring my 4x4.
Well,
I'm in
I
bad
also
shape.
did not. I'm not wearing my cowboy boots either.
Oh, look at that! You got regular boots on.
Yes.
See, and I've got my Wallaby wannabes.
And those are slip-ons.
Yeah, they are. They are. I think he's making fun of me over here is what he's doing. Okay, so what intrigues me about what you do is actually part of kind of what I used to do many years ago. When I had 60 people on my payroll, I was one of the nation's largest weed abatement contractors. And what we would do is that we would get warrants from cities and counties to go through, and even from the railroads, and we would clean railroads, we would clean people's properties, we would disc, we would do hand crews, we would do all things. But the one thing that we didn't have on with us is that you kind of do the same thing, but on a large scale.
We do.
And you're doing it for forestry purposes.
We do it for multi-purposes, primarily to prevent the spread of wildfires.
Okay.
So we do fuels reduction, fire-wise landscaping.
Okay.
So what we do is we go fuel reduction.
Yeah.
So we're trying to eliminate the amount of weeds, down trees, invasive species that are within the forest to eliminate the competition with the stand, which are Doug fir stands, pine, ponderosa pine, cedar, any of the indigenous species. We try to eliminate the competition to provide a healthier forest and to prevent the spread of forest fires.
Neat, that's really cool. But one thing I never had was wasn't able to bring my own fire equipment here. So this is actually an essential piece of equipment when you're working.
Very much so. Oregon Department of Forestry has ODF.
Okay.
Has specs on what we're supposed to have when we are doing forest mastication. That's another term for what we do is mastication.
Okay.
And so they require us.
Okay, wait a minute. So let's break that word down.
Yes.
So when you have a garbage disposal, it's called a masturator, isn't it?
Masticator.
Masticator. So is that the same kind of concept?
Same concept.
Same concept.
Same
okay.
concept.
All right. But you're not using a little machine that you throw
no.
some stuff in.
Oh no.
Okay.
Not even close.
Okay. So this is a tool that you're required to have, and
Correct.
this is like your own fire department.
It is. It's a water buffalo. We were required to have, if we're using a trailer, we have to have 500 gallons of water.
Wow. That's 500 gallon
That's
tank?
500
Oh my
gallons.
goodness. My jacuzzi isn't this big.
And then we are required to have 500 feet of fire hose.
And this is like real fire hose.
That's real fire hose.
Look at that.
And then we
Oh,
also,
look at that, look at that, look at this. This is cool. This is like a real fireman's thingamajiggy. Look at that. So this thing can really spit out the water.
it shoots it out about 40 feet.
Okay.
So it's, and then we're also required to have Pulaski's. And
What's Pulaski?
Pulaski is some of the tools that we are mandated to carry. So that's a Pulaski. And we have shovels.
That's a Pulaski?
That's a Pulaski.
So you wouldn't call this a Picmatic? No.
It's a Pulaski.
A Pulaski.
Yeah.
So it kind of look, so a Maddox would be a little bit more incorporated and bigger like this, I would imagine. Because we use Picmatics all the time in gardening for root pruning. But you're not pruning any roots.
We are not. We are not.
Okay, all right.
And
Yeah,
shovels.
real firemen dudes have this.
Yes.
All right, good. And you have the shovels.
Have the shovels, extra fire extinguishers.
And you're using the shovels to throw dirt on the fire if a
Correct.
fire. This is all preventative.
Correct.
So you've
Yes.
been pretty fortunate so far?
Yes.
Nice. Okay, okay. And you even have, you even got the fire thingamajiggies here?
We have multiple fire
extinguishers?
extinguishers, plus we keep them in the truck.
And I see that you have to
Yep.
get them recharged every so often. See, that's a real important thing. Even if you own a business, you have to have, like we're at the thingsgreen.com Botanical Gardens, we have fire extinguishers all over the place, and we have a company that comes out every few months to recharge them because they lose their zip.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is all ready to go,
Yes.
and this is ready to go because of the masticator machine that you have.
Yes, or forest mulcher.
Forest mulcher. Okay, and that's this monster over here. Look at that. Oh, wait a minute. Before you go, you said invasive species, and I see a couple of.
Yes.
I see a couple of
So right
invasive-
behind you, you'll see these. This is called Scotch broom,
Okay.
and you'll see some of the pods.
Oh, here's one right here.
So these pods have thousands of seeds in them, and when they
Yep.
release their seed,
They just released a
our
bunch of
problem
seeds.
is
So these seeds are
intensified.
already. So these seeds are already gone.
yes. So this is called Scotch broom.
Okay. Now this is an indigenous species or
Invasive.
This is an invasive species. Okay.
Yes.
Now the other thing is this. This is actually pretty interesting. This has a lifespan.
This does. This is a noble fir,
Uh-huh.
and generally speaking, it's about 20 years
Okay.
lifespan. Generally speaking,
All right. So it will just automatically die.
yes.
Okay.
And you'll see behind us, there's numerous trees that are dead.
Okay.
And those are primarily the noble firs, and these are used for Christmas trees or for wreaths.
Oh, okay. All right. Maybe that's the reason why they use them for those purposes, right? Because they have that short
Yes.
lifespan for them.
Correct.
Okay. So this right here is our giganormous garbage disposal, isn't it? Disposer. It's actually
Yes.
not disposal. It's disposer of sorts.
So
because
we
you're
have-
masticating.
Correct. So this is called a drum mulcher. This is from Fecon. There's multiple companies. Throughout my experience, I've found that Fecon has one of the best products available. These are carbide teeth.
These teeth right here.
Yes.
Okay. Now is the whole thing the tooth, or is it
No,
just part?
just this front face right here.
Just for front face.
These
okay.
are the teeth, and those are replaceable. We could elect for putting knives on them or blades.
Ooh.
However, when we're dealing with rock, we need to use a carbide bit.
So, I used to have tractors when we did our weed abatement country. We had our tractors, and we had flails, and those flails we would replace those too. But it was a piece that came out like this, and then it would V off,
Right.
like that, and it would just pound.
Right.
This isn't pounding like that.
No, well, so the carbide teeth, essentially they do the pounding motion. You'll see there's a difference between using a carbide and a knife. The knife is actually just a really thick blade.
Okay.
Whereas these are actually carbide tip. And what happens is the knives they'll allow for a finer product, so better mulch. However, if you're dealing with rock, you want to use carbide because then you're not running into having to sharpen them or replacing the teeth all the time. They'll hit the rock and the rock will explode.
With these?
With these, yes.
I see. And that's why you have your portable fire department with you?
Yes.
Just in case, because you never know.
Right.
Okay. All right, so, whoa, hey, that moves.
Yep.
Look at that. All right, so it's going to be going down in this kind of motion right here.
Yes.
And it's going to, now do you take it and do you hit it with the ground or does it stay like this? And
No,
just on top?
so it elevates off the ground, so you can see the skids on either side. That prevents from you going too much into the earth, because we want to alleviate hitting the earth.
Okay.
Because once we just start disturbing the earth, then that affects the trees.
All right, because well, especially in a drought situation, you
Yes.
have those roots coming to the surface.
Right. So and why this machine is so important, the ASV RT135, these are the widest tracks on the market right now at 20 inches. The reason why we have the widest footprint is to allow or to disperse the footprint or the disbursement of weight over the soil. So as long as we're not compacting the soil, when you compact the soil onto the roots, you're pulling the oxygen from the roots.
Okay.
So
okay.
we're trying to limit the impact of the footprint.
That's why we don't have wheels, we have tracks.
That's why we have tracks.
Okay. Now, do these tracks go, because I've seen tractors where they'll go further out, all that.
They do not.
Or that's just right there.
That's just right there. And additionally, on these tracks specifically, has a suspension. It's called Posi-Track. And if you look at the suspension, it actually floats with the earth.
Oh.
So it goes with the
contour of it.
Contour.
Oh,
Correct.
how nice. So that's what all these wheels are doing. This is almost
Correct.
like a tank.
It is like
I mean,
a
I've
tank.
never seen a tank before in person, but, I've seen them on TV.
Right.
Okay. So do these things wear out? I mean,
Yes, they
this
do.
is like a tire.
Generally speaking, about 2,000 hours
Okay.
is what ASV suggests that their lifespan is.
All right. Now, this gets me kind of concerned over here. You got a roll bar on this thing.
I do. I do. So
I mean, how fast are you driving this thing to
Oh,
have a roll bar?
No. This is actually just to protect the engine compartment and the air conditioning system.
Oh, you have AC in
I
this
have
thing.
AC
Oh
and
my
heat.
goodness,
Yes.
how nice.
Yes.
So, what is the season that you're actually doing this kind of thing? Because you get snow up here,
We do get snow. I could run year round,
even through the snow.
even through the snow.
Wow.
Yes. So this actually works really well with snow as well.
Okay, so I have to go back to my old days of when I was a weed abatement contractor. We had rules that, we had 20 feet buffers, we had 10 foot buffers. It was all the contingent on how close we were to either the railroad tracks or somebody's house or the road or whatever the case may be. Do you have those same kind of rules out here?
Yes, we do. As a matter of fact, we deal much with waterway. So I believe Oregon State just changed the rules. Previously, we were not able to get within 50 feet of a waterway. I believe they pushed it up to 75 feet because they don't want the debris going into the streams.
I see.
So that's why we stay between 50 and 75 feet from waterways.
Okay, so this, again, I'm reflecting on my experience. Weed abatement is one of the most dirtiest jobs. You get filthy, you get dirt in places you never knew that you had those places. Even though you have the air conditioning and all that, are you still getting pretty grimy?
Yeah, so actually, well, no, because this is a pressurized cab. So
Like an airplane.
essentially, yes.
Wow.
So we do not get much dust in there, just from the dust me climbing in and out of the cab.
Oh.
Additionally, I use a backpack blower every 4 hours. When I grease the machine, I'll go through the backpack blower, blow off all the dust.
Okay. So there's the, I don't know if I actually don't know if this is nationwide, but you have the air quality management, AQMD. Does that happen out here too?
We're DEQ.
Okay.
So we're not, we don't follow the same rules as the city.
Okay. So you can get a little dusty and it's not the end of the world.
Agricultural is a different aspect.
That's right. This is all ag. Is all forestry ag?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So how do you get into this beast?
All right. Well, you come through the front of the cab.
All right. I don't know where the front of the cab is.
Cab's right here.
Oh, you go through the front. There's
Yeah.
not a side door.
So one of the interesting things about the ASV RT135 forestry is that it is bulletproof glass. If you want to see the thickness of that,
Is that right?
that is polycarbonate believe it's a 1/2 inch,
Why would you need bulletproof glass?
because the debris that's coming back to you is at a pretty high speed.
Oh.
Yeah, so if you hit something like rock or a piece of oak and it comes flinging back, if you had glass, it'd smash that glass.
Okay, so you're a big boy. I'm a big boy. You get little boys to drive this?
Not,
Little people?
Not so much. I mean, we have photos of the clients, kids that come in there and take a photo, but no.
You actually fit in there?
Yeah, that's actually one of the biggest cabs that are on the market.
Okay, so I am. All right, don't tell anybody, but I'm a little claustrophobic, and I think I'd freak out in there.
Take a seat.
Is that right?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna see what we're gonna do here. Take a seat, the man.
It's all one of the benefits of having all windows is it reduces that claustrophobia.
Oh my goodness. This would freak me out. You have to have that down?
Yes.
When you're driving?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So this is all you got. So this, you open this up so you can talk to somebody, right?
Correct.
Because you have that.
Right.
Hey, how's it going? Can you see me?
I can see you.
All right. This is cool. All right. Is this what kind of fuel does this run on?
Diesel.
Diesel fuel.
Yes.
Okay. So do you have do you drive this like to a gas station?
No, I normally have diesel trucked up, red dye, which is off-road diesel. I have it trucked up to the property, and then I also have a 100-gallon tank on the back of my truck.
Okay. So
I
how
can
long
refill.
can a vehicle like this run for?
It generally a gallon per hour, roughly.
Okay.
Roughly.
And how big is the tank?
I believe it's 42 gallons on there.
Okay, so you could stockpile 2.5 days worth of work, or kind of, right?
Yes, roughly, yes.
Roughly.
Obviously, that all depends on what I'm grinding up. If it's oak or really dense fuel, then it takes a lot more strain on the machine.
All right, wait
if it's
a minute,
like blackberries, then it goes through a lot easier.
Oh, so you're not just cutting weeds, you're cutting bushes and too. What does
Blackberries.
this thing cut?
Everything up to 9 inches.
No kidding. Wow. All right, this is pretty exciting. I'm afraid to close the door, but I'm gonna do it anyhow. I can get out, right?
Yes.
All right. So here I am. I'm inside. I've got the handles. It's like a joystick kind of thing. Can you hear me? Yeah, you can hear me. So this is like a joystick kind of thing. I was never good at the kids' games growing up. And then I guess you started from here.
Yes.
You got windshield wipers.
Yes.
And you could work at nighttime if you're crazy enough to do that. But then again, you know what to say about farmers. Legalize gambling. You never know what you're getting yourself into. So they'll work at night. And is this a TV?
That is that's the screen that gives you all your engine specifics, and then also it's a backup camera.
Oh, okay. And then you got a thing here to fix your hair.
Yep.
That's nice. And then, hey, you got a skylight.
Well, no, that's an emergency roof hatch.
I might use that.
You might. I've used it once
Oh, was that right?
Yeah.
Because you had to?
because I had to.
Jeez. All right, I'm getting out of here, man. This is bugging me. I'm bugging me out. All right, can you take this thing out for a spin for us?
Absolutely.
All right, I like that idea. I'm never going to do that again. I'm getting tired just watching you. That's got to be exasperating, isn't it?
You know, 8 hours a day, it's a little jarring and it's a little stressful because you're always watching the topography. You're watching for rocks, for metal, for
Yeah.
T-posts.
You have metal out in the middle of nowhere?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. People just drop debris
Yeah, it
everywhere
sounds
on
like
the
the
property.
stomach is grumbling, by the way.
No, it's just the diesel exhaust fluid. I
Okay,
believe.
so we actually cut a path over here.
Yes.
Look at this.
So this would be the same concept of if we're doing a fire break for a client.
Okay.
So we would just obviously do this 3 times the size.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we would just widen it out.
I mean, look how tall this was. This is over top of my head, and you're cutting stuff.
Yes.
Okay, I have to admit it was pretty cool when you're cutting down those trees.
Yes.
Yeah. So you take little tiny bites out of it.
Yes.
And then it obviously breaks in half, and then you kind of grind away at it. Huh?
Correct. Yeah. So
Okay.
I'll take it. I'll kind of wipe out some of the limbs just so they're not getting back into the engine bay or into the back of the machine. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of go high, tilt it forward so the rail is pushing on the tree, and I'll grind it because I want to push that tree when it breaks. I want to push away from the cab.
Okay. And then I noticed that there's a bunch of chains on the bottom over there.
Yes.
They're clanking away. What's the reason for that?
So that when you're hitting, so it revolves this way. So it's taking it's kind of like a vacuum cleaner.
Okay.
So that's why we kind of keep a distance off the earth. And because it's a vacuum, and it's sucking in the material
And chopping it up.
and chopping it up. And what
Okay.
happens is those chains prevent, it's like the debris management. It prevents that debris from going and hitting the cab or going to the, hitting
And
the
pretty
window.
much puts it back where it used to be.
Yes. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Now, what's really interesting as well, when you're talking about weed abatement management like this, or forestry management, you may be asking yourself, why don't they take and rake it all up and get rid of it? Well, part of what they're trying to do is eliminate the source of the fuel of the fire. When a fire starts, it needs oxygen. Well, weeds have less of a chance of burning when they're stacked up on top of each other on the ground than they do if they were like this. So that's part of the weed abatement process. And when I was in the business, we did that all the time. We just cut the weeds, and the fire department allow us to leave it there. But this right here, you're not taking anything away from the forest.
No, as a matter of fact, we're feeding nutrients to the forest.
Yeah.
So we're grinding it up, and that decomposition provides nutrients to the stands of trees and the indigenous stands.
Okay, now for the record, I got very tired and I got very hungry watching you. I have to go have lunch now.
Okay,
So you continue on.
please.